Always begin your makeup routine with a moisturizer that fits your skin type. Next, I'm using REVLON Photoready Brightening Primer. You can get this at any drugstore, and it's always been one of my favorites. After my primer sits for a second, I go in using the sponge to apply my foundation. My recent favorite is the REVLON Photoready Airbrush Effect Foundation in the shade Ivory. As you can tell, the sponge is not my favorite. It's nice because it does not soak up any product, but I don't like the finish, so I went back in with my Real Techniques Beauty Blender and just blended everything out. I always give my foundation time to set, and then I go in with a translucent powder, which this one I'm using is Colorstay by Revlon, which I'm almost out. This is one of my favorite setting powders to use because it lasts all day, it's super affordable, and it has a really nice finish. After I set my foundation, I like to go straight into bronzer. This one is Park Ave Princess by Tarte. It's actually one that I got in my Ipsy bag, but it's definitely become one of my favorites. The brush that I use for bronzer is made by Crown. There's no number to it, but I really like the way that it blends. As you guys know, when you're contouring, sometimes it's really easy to end up with a harsh line, which is really easy to blend if you use a powder to set your foundation. The typical places to use bronzer would be under your cheekbones, by your temples, and around your nose, and then sometimes I like to do it under my jawline. The blush brush I'm using is LUXIE 514, and I'm using Flower Pots Powder Blush in the shade Warm Hibiscus. Using the excess pigment on my brush, I like to go in between my temples where it contoured to blend the two. Today I'm using LUXIE 660 Precision Foundation Brush for my highlighter. My favorite highlighter to use is Mary Lou-Minizer by TheBalm Cosmetics. After I dust highlighter on my cheekbones and my nose, I like to put it under my eyebrows as well and in the inner corner of my eyes just to brighten them up a little bit. After I'm done with my face, I like to start with my eyebrows. My recent favorite brow product is Stay Put Brow Color by Milani, and then an angle brush that comes with it. I always use a spoolie first on my eyebrows because your foundation tends to stick to your hair. Then using the angle brush, I start with an outline of my brows and then use short strokes to fill in the rest. As you come to the center of your brow, use less product. After using a gel or a cream brow product, I like to use a pigment from the Tarteist Pro palette just to set that product and also to get the color that I like. Always keep in mind that the outer part of your brows should be darker than the inside to create that fade. I'm starting off with the shade Vintage. It's similar to my skin tone. I like to use this as a base so that all my pigments blend easily. Going into the corner and the crease, I'm using the shade Chic. After that, I'm using Mod for the outer corner and blending that into the crease. Using the other side of this brush, I'm going into Drama and just going to apply it to the outer corners of my eyes to deepen the look. After I'm finished, I like to take Vintage, the original color, to blend everything up to my brow bone. And then I'm going into the shade Glam, using my finger for a more concentrated pigment on the inside of my lids. I forgot to highlight my Cupid's bow earlier, so I just did that. Before I finish my eyes and my lips, I like to set my face with Revlon Photoready Setting Spray. If I really want my highlighter to pop, I'll add more highlighter to my cheekbones while my face is dewy. I've been using a liquid liner from Milani called Stay Put Matte 17-Hour Wear Liquid Liner. It really does last a long time. I really like the applicator and I think it's super easy and it leaves a nice finish. The easiest way for me to make sure my eyeliner is even on both sides is to start from the outer half of my eye and down and then draw the wing. And then once those are even, you can go in and then go for the inner corners. First, I use Lash Intensity Mascara by Mary Kay to give a good base to your eyelashes. I love this one. After that, just to thicken up the top lashes, I use Monsieur BIG by Lancôme. This is also a sample that I got in my Ipsy bag and it ended up being one of my favorites. Normally I might do one coat of mascara and then fake lashes, but I didn't have any lash glue. I would have normally done this before I put my mascara on. I just use the same pigments that I use for the top and line the bottom of my lashes. Honestly, this is just a personal preference. I think it's more important the more dramatic the look gets, and I think it looks nice, but that's totally up to you. The lip shade that I'm using today is from ColourPop. It's a liquid matte. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's one of my favorites. The finish of it is kind of sticky, but I don't mind it. It stays for a really long time and it's not uncomfortable. Finally, I like to set my face one more time for good measure. And that's that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. And have a beautiful day.